Black Mirror, Bandersnatch Synopsis. Presentation. Bandersnatch is presented as an interactive film. A brief tutorial, specific to the device being streamed on, explains to the viewer how to make choices. They have 10 seconds to make choices, or a default decision is made. Once a playthrough ends, the viewer is given an option of going back and making a different choice. The average viewing is 90 minutes, though the quickest path ends after 40 minutes. There are 150 minutes of unique footage divided into 250 segments. IGN reports that according to Netflix, there are 5 main endings, with variants within each ending. Such endings may be intricate with credits, similar to other Black Mirror episodes. Producer Russell McLean said there are between 10 and 12 endings, some of which are more vague as endings compared to others, and according to director David Slade, there are few golden eggs endings that may take a long time before viewers figure out how to achieve them. No ending is considered prescribed over any other, according to executive producers Charlie Brooker and Annabelle Jones, particularly as they felt some endings were not truly endings in the traditional sense. In most cases, when the viewer reaches an ending, the interactive film gives the player the option to redo a last critical choice as to be able to explore these endings, or they can alternatively view the film's credits. In some cases, the same segment is reachable in multiple different ways, but will present the viewer with different choices based on the way they reach the segment. In other cases, certain loops guide viewers to a specific narrative regardless of the choices they make. Some endings may become impossible to reach based on choices made by the viewer, unless they opt to restart the film. This action will erase all stored information about which options they had selected while watching the episode on that device. Plot. In England in July 1984, young programmer Stephen Butler, Fionn Whitehead, dreams of adapting a choose-your-own-adventure book called Bandersnatch by tragic writer Jerome F. Davis, Jeff Minter, into what he hopes will be a revolutionary adventure video game. The game involves traversing a graphical maze of corridors while avoiding a creature called the Pax, and at times making choices by a non-screen instruction. Butler produces the game for video game company Tuckersoft, which is run by Mohan Thakur, Asim Chaudhry, and employs the famous game creator Colin Rittman, Will Poulter. Butler is given the choice of accepting or rejecting help from the company in developing the game. If Butler accepts the offer, Rittman says he chose the wrong path. The game is released months later and critically panned as designed by committee. Butler considers trying again, and the film returns to the day of the offer, the viewer being given the same choice. Otherwise, Butler begins to work on the game on his own from his bedroom, given a September deadline by Thakur so Tuckersoft can publish it for Christmas sales. Fighting through the game's software bugs, Butler gets increasingly stressed out and hostile to his father Peter, Craig Parkinson. Throughout this period, Butler visits Dr. R. Haynes, Alice Lowe, clinic for therapy. The viewer may have Butler explain to Dr. Haynes about his mother's death when he was 5. Peter had taken his stuffed rabbit toy, believing boys his age should not be playing with dolls, and Butler's stubbornness to refuse to leave without it forced his mother to take a later train, which derailed and killed several passengers including her. Butler since feels responsible for her death, and sees completing the adaptation of Bandersnatch, one of the books she owned, as a means to atone to her. Dr. Haynes prescribes Butler medicine, which the viewer can choose to either have Butler take or flush down the toilet. The viewer may have the option to have Butler take an invitation to visit Rittman's flat, where he lives with his girlfriend Kitty, Tallulah Haddon, and infant daughter Pearl. There, the pair take hallucinogens, and Rittman then talks about secret government mind control programs, alternate timelines, and different paths. To demonstrate his theories on alternate realities, Rittman demands Butler, via the viewer, determine which one of them should jump off the balcony. In future scenes, Rittman will be mysteriously absent if he was the one that jumped. As the deadline to deliver the game to Thakur looms, with strange errors still present in the game, Butler begins to feel he is being controlled by outside forces, putting into question how much he trusts his father and Dr. Haynes. Butler finds his life mirroring that of Davis, seeing recurring imagery of a branching pathway symbol, which seemingly led to Davis beheading his own wife. As he begins to mentally break down and tries to fight against an unseen agent controlling his actions, the viewer has multiple options to explain to Butler, from his 1984 computer screen, who has been controlling him, one of which being that they are making these decisions for him via Netflix service in the 21st century. The viewer may discover a locked safe that either contains Butler's old toy rabbit, or documents about him being monitored as part of an experiment. There are numerous possible endings, of which the following is only a partial list. One path leads to Butler fighting his therapist during a session, after which it is revealed that he is in a movie set and that his dad is a fellow actor. One set of choices leads Butler following Rittman's advice, seemingly crossing through a mirror to his 5-year-old self to go along with his mother to die in the derailment, causing Butler's body to suddenly die in the present. In other paths, the viewer has the option to make Butler kill his father, then bury or chop up his father's body and, when given the option, to kill Rittman or Tucker. Burying the body leads to Butler being jailed before release of the game. Chopping up and not letting his therapist know about the murder leads to the successful release of the game, but Butler goes to prison shortly afterwards, leading to all copies of the game being pulled from shelves and pulped. In some endings, the viewer is shown the critical reaction to the Bandersnatch game and the fate of Tuckersoft. Other endings conclude in the present day with a grown-up Pearl, Laura Evelyn, now a programmer for Netflix, attempting to adapt it into an interactive film, which leads her to start experiencing the same branching path imagery seen by both Davis and Butler.